In this video, I'm going to show you how you can leverage the calendar feature in Canvas so that your students know exactly what they need to do for that day, when things are due, and so they can get to it easily. So on the far left-hand side, there is a black column of options, and you're going to notice that one of them in the middle is calendar. So I'm going to ask you to click on calendar. When the calendar opens, you're going to notice that it looks a lot like your Google Calendar. There we go. For the record, I am doing this at my house and I have very slow internet. Anyway, so when the calendar opens, it looks a lot like your Google Calendar. Just like Google Calendar, if you look at the top, you can toggle if you just want to look at today, if you just want to look at a certain month, week, month, agenda, etc. You also look on the right-hand side, you can turn whatever calendar on that you want. So today I'm working in my Sandbox course, so I just click on the little gray box next to Sandbox course, and I already see I have something popped up, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But let's say today I am going to make an agenda for my English 2 course for Wednesday the 24th. To do that, all I need to do is I can just click on the actual day that I want, and the edit option will pop up, or I can click on the plus button at the top. Yep, there you go. And then just make sure I pick the correct date. So I'm going to do Wednesday. Here's what I do. So this is probably a best practice, just because we have to consider that this calendar isn't just for your course. It's for your students, all of their courses. So titling things, if you're going to make an agenda in the calendar, making it so it's really easy for your student to know what course this is. So I always start with English 2, that's the name of the course, and then I might just say the date just to make sure the student knows exactly what day it is. Then you want to click at the bottom where it says more options. You also, before you click more options, want to make sure that the calendar, where it says calendar and there's a drop-down menu, you want to make sure you're putting it in the right course. Sometimes I will be making something for English 2, but I actually have it set for AP Lit, as you can see here, and it doesn't show up for the right kids. So just make sure it's the right course. When you click more options, you're going to get your standard text editing box for Canvas. Here's what I do. I put 3 things in my agenda, and it doesn't have to look very fancy. I always start with my learning goals. And I just type it, make a little bullet point. I'm going to be honest, I always have my lesson plans in some sort of like a Google Doc like this, and honest to gosh, I just copy it. Do you ever have fingers just don't work? That's not work. There we go. So oftentimes I just copy what my learning goal was from my lesson plan Google Doc. Then I usually have an agenda where I list the things that we're going to do today. Now, if I look at my agenda in my Google Doc, I have that we're going to watch this video, we're going to do some card sorting, we're going to try and find examples of semicolons in the wild, and then we're going to have a practice worksheet. But something I want to consider is that I've already put these things in my Canvas. I usually write my lesson plan, then I build the things in Canvas, or I pull from older things that I've done years past. And then when I'm down to actually deciding what day these things happen on, because as we plan, we don't actually know what day these things are going to happen on, because sometimes things just throw us a wrench. Then when I make my agenda, since these things are already in Canvas, I can do something pretty slick. So if we notice, the first thing I needed students to do is to watch a video. On the right-hand side, I can find all the things I've programmed in Canvas already. So I know that I have this video in a page. So I'm going to go under where it says Pages, click it, and they're going to pop up every page that I have ever made for this particular Canvas course. And here it is right here. The video I want is in this page. So all I need to do is click on it, and the hyperlink shows up right here in my agenda. So the second part of my lesson is also in a page, in which I made a page where the page has a little link to a card sort activity. So I'm just going to press enter. Now I have agenda item number 2. I'm going to click on my second page where I've built that material, and boom, once again, the link is right there. So students, when they open their agenda, will see exactly what they need to do. Now, the next part of my lesson had students doing an assignment. So I'm going to open up where it says assignments. I'm going to have the next 2, which are assignments. And in fact, it looks like, for whatever reason, I have like a practice quiz, which is why it's in assignments and not quizzes. So I'm going to put that right there. So those are the 5 things my students need to do. Now I can, if I would like, write some commentary. So for example, I wanted to make sure that my students, make sure that they knew that there was a practice quiz. So I might say 1.5 is a practice quiz. You may take it as many times as you is. Okay. If there's something I need them to do for homework, perhaps, I might put my homework here and link it the same way that I have done in the past. Now, there's a couple things that are some more features that you might find helpful. So for example, I have a section, I might have a section of English 2 on Monday and a section on Tuesday. So if I had multiple sections, I could click use different date for each section, and I can tell that section 1 has this pop up on their Tuesday, and section 2 has it on their Monday, or whenever the class is. Let's say I want the same agenda to show up for multiple days in a row. So let's say I want them to work on this over the course of 3 days, and the agenda doesn't change because this is an ongoing thing. I can click duplicate, and I can decide how often, days, weeks, months, this shows up. Regardless, when I am done, I can click create event. It usually doesn't take this long on our school internet. Like I said, I am on my home internet. But if we notice now, the calendar has a nice little event on it. When they click on it, they have all of the things I've programmed on it. And what is wild is that when they click on the agenda item, it will open it up right here for them, so they don't need to go digging for it. And they just need to go back to their calendar at any time, and they can find all of their things for all of their classes.